All right, I think we are live. So let me just make sure that we are good to go, and we'll get this call started. So let me just make sure everybody is coming through. Let's see. All right, I think everyone is coming through now. So again, everybody, thank you for joining us for this week's live coaching call. This week, we're going to talk about credibility. And we've touched on this quite a bit, but we're going to keep talking about it because I feel like it's very, very important based on the questions that we consistently get. So if one person is asking, then more than likely there's others out there that need the same help. So we're going to talk about it. But first, before we get started and move along, if I can get a few people to let me know they can see me or see the screen at least, and then also hear me loud and clear. That assures that everything's good to go and we can get started with this call. Let me just go ahead and just make a few adjustments here. Da-da-da. All right, so cool. All right. Again, if I can get one or two people letting me know you hear me and can see my screen, and we can get started. Do-do-do. Okay, one person. I just need one person, or I'm assuming something's wrong. Let me just double check on my end too. All right, I think everything's good. Yep. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, I hear and see you. Awesome, cool. Leon, hey Leon, how you doing? Donald, great. Okay, we've got three people letting me know. So yeah, so thank you again, guys, for and gals, if there's any gals out there, thank you for joining us for this week's call. How to enhance your credibility with your marketing strategy. So, and kind of really, I put with your marketing strategy really with intent. There are some comments that were given to me which were really good feedback. Sometimes what's normal to us sometimes may not be normal to others. So I'm definitely going to cover a little bit more um, about as far as how credibility should work into really overall marketing, not just a website. Of course, the topic is going to always be centered around your website because this is a coaching call to help you better utilize the carrot system. But we always want to find ways and have that mindset of how to integrate your current marketing with your website, not just looking at your website just as a 100% lead generation system. Okay, so again, how to enhance your credibility with your marketing strategy. New content to check out before we dive in. Here are some new carrot casts. The two are how are you looking to hire as an expense or an investment? The significance of having the right mindset when hiring the right people. Great call on that one. Also showcase your unique business offer with Google My Business Post. This is something I stumbled across a couple of weeks ago. So we actually acted fast on this. That's the cool thing with Investor Carrot, guys, is that anytime we see new features, anything that can benefit you guys, we're going to make sure we get that out to you as quickly as possible. So we put that together in a quickly fashion. And so make sure you guys are checking that out. That's the newest blog post. Showcase your unique business offer with Google My Business Posts. So that's a cool new feature. Of course, you have to have your business verified. So something you guys want to look into and make sure that you're doing as well. How simple math can turn your paid advertising to a big winner, and that's with Trevor. So check those two new podcasts along with the new blog post, especially the blog post, if anything. So all right. Weekly dose of awesomeness. This one comes from Jeffrey. Jeffrey comes through support quite a bit, and which is a good thing. I say that as a compliment. Some of our best performing members has always been those that are quick to reach out for help. They understand that, they don't want to be spending their time trying to figure out stuff. They're looking to get past the task and then getting to where they need to be, which is what they do best, which is, finding deals, negotiating, all of that. So Jeffrey send it through. Thank you, Adrian. This analysis was super helpful. I completely get where you're going with the site not having targeted area content. I'm going to work this weekend to build out pages for a handful of targeted areas. So that's one of the things that we really talk about. And just to kind of give you some insight with Jeffrey, he had a site that was targeting pretty much Maryland, and his question was why he was not ranking well locally. His site wasn't even coming up in the top 100, but we were able to quickly analyze his site and realize that he was kind of going too broad in his marketing. So we taught him how and really broke down the city page concept. And I know many of you on this call are already doing that, but again, it goes back to what we perceive simple sometimes can be a game changer for someone. So and I love doing these type of strategy calls, or be able to help someone hone in a lot more specifically and be a lot more targeted. So thanks, Jeffrey, for letting us know that, and glad that we were able to help. So hopefully you got those pages done. I know this came through, I believe it was last week. So again, thanks, Jeffrey. All right. So, man, let's just kind of dive right into it. So would love to find out, first of all, how many on this call are focused on credibility? Okay. And when I say focus on credibility, I know a lot of the talk that we have is about being found through keywords. Someone goes go to Google and is looking for a service or a product they're ready to buy, or they're looking into finding more information. That's why Google's such a powerful tool. But also, if you're not controlling your credibility, that tool can come back to hurt you as well. Okay. I was just had a strategy call earlier this week that ties into this perfectly. I made this statement that just kind of came out of my mouth. I said, if you're not controlling page one of Google with your business, you're leaving to chance someone controlling that for you. Okay. So, and I'll give an example of that once we kind of dive in more into hands-on stuff. So credibility, again, it's just not about, sprucing up your company page, which we talk a lot and we tell people to do. It's not about just personalizing your site more. Again, that ties into that. It's not about just testimonials, even though that's a big part of that. Credibility is really positioning yourself how a seller, or really a customer, in this, because this is a universal principle, is positioning yourself in line with how someone could look you up or wonder more or want to learn more about you. Because in this day and age, the game changer has been mobile. Okay, mobile has changed everything. People have quicker access to the internet like never before with mobile. And even mobile, even a lot of people say, well, the majority of people are not techie yet. That might be true. I have a 80-year-old grandmother who is terrified of the computer, but she's very savvy with her smartphone. Okay. So just because someone may not be tech savvy with a computer, people are very savvy with the smartphone. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but now she goes on her phone and looks up information on Google on her phone, Facebook, all that stuff. So it's amazing how someone can be so fearful in one aspect, but yet pretty much accomplish the same task on another device and be very comfortable and very good. So that's why credibility is really something that we touch on. So it's more than just making your website more personalized, which again, we want you to, but it's also understanding psychology of what potentially a motivated seller could do when learning more about you specifically. So we've kind of gone, so kind of look at this roadmap. They've gone past of finding someone. Now it's a matter of who they want to deal with. Now, of course, there's going to be some that just calls everybody. That's, that you're going to have that. You're going to have some people that are going to be submitting their information on multiple websites, right? So you just have to kind of really begin to understand what it is that, what's their point of view, okay? So just because I never like to leave to chance that just because someone's a motivated seller, that they're going to engage with me automatically. Just because someone lands on my website, I don't want to always assume that they're going to automatically call me or fill out a form, because a lot of people say, well, if they're motivated, they're going to do what it takes. That's not necessarily true. There's a lot of factors that go into someone's decision, whether to engage or keep looking. Okay. So for me, if I'm spending so much time and effort into getting someone to my website, I want to make sure that I'm positioning my website or really setting up my website to where it's going to do what it's supposed to do, giving it the best chance to succeed, I guess you could say. So, so look at credibility that way. Just don't look at the task of us telling you, add your testimonials, spruce up your company page. It's a lot more than that. So that's what the goal of this call is going to be, is to really look at it from a seller's perspective and the objections that they already have before even contacting you, and how we can counter that. Address the elephant in the room, I guess, is the best way to put it. So really take this in. I think it's important. This could be the one thing that could be your competitive edge in your local market. So, and obviously you're here and your competition's probably not. So take this information and take action on it. Okay, so I'm going to go through a little bit of the training, and then we're going to dive in and we can take a look at some websites and do some analysis and just see where we go from there. So again, thank you guys for being on this call. It means a lot to me that you're investing this time. So let's make sure you get the most out of it. All right, credibility. Let's get started. So here's one of the things that I've been really covering, and it seems like it's been an eye opener. And sometimes we think we know our business, but a lot of times we don't. A lot of times we kind of follow, how people teach us or how we learn. And sometimes we don't really step back and look at our business and look at it, from a customer's point of view. We just kind of go through the motion of marketing. We say what we say, and hopefully people come through the door. Okay. So it's so good that it's good occasionally that you step back and really look at things from a seller's perspective. I did a call I think it was last week or the week before, about just really looking at it from the psychology, the mindset of a motivated seller, and then just creating the path and addressing issues based on that mindset, because it's there. You just got to have to extract it and deal with it. And that's what brings trust. That's really what brings credibility. So this call is somewhat a continuation of that, but a little bit more specific to how to create and really control your brand, your business. So here's some common stuff that we tend to say as investors. So I'm going to start with this. These are the common stuff that we tend to say in our marketing. No cost to you, or no fees. We can buy your house in X amount of days. And usually it's a quick time frame. We tell people there's no inspections. There's no, we'll buy as is. So which is great, right? This is what can get someone's attention. This can really buy into someone, our services, because it's convenient, it's fast, right? So at the same time, in that same breath, it also is going to bring out more suspicion. Like, okay, is this real? Is this a scam? Or what's the catch? When we say no cost to you, what do you mean there's no cost? Nothing's for free. You know what I mean? So there's always those mindset objections that people have, that could be because of the media, how the media has just blasted, maybe capitalism, maybe there is a big scam that happened in your area that was a lot of attention. So now people are always told, beware, who you deal with, make sure you're asking questions, so there's a lot of negativity out there, and some of it is true, you know. So we're not saying that every stuff out there negative is not false, but you know, a lot of it is, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for, but you know, it's justified. Some of the you know, some of the suspicions that people have. But my point with all this is that when we say things like this, it goes against the current information that's already in the seller's mind. Okay. And what do I mean by that? When people think of real estate, people naturally think of traditional real estate, you know, which is selling through a realtor, inspection. The person that is buying the house probably is getting a loan, right? So there's a lot of these provision and fine print that's attached to selling the house. So again, so that's the common knowledge, that's the current mindset that people have. So when someone like me comes along, or they get your mail piece, or they see a sign, or it's just brought up in conversation, yes, of course, this is going to not come natural to their mindset, because remember, there's already something there, and what we say is coming against it. Okay, so that's why there's that suspicion. That's why there's that hesitation, maybe even at times. I think a lot of times too is when we have a lot of people coming to our site, they're still not sure, right? Like they're hesitant, like they're really kind of on the fence of providing their information, and they're on the fence of submitting their information because they're still not sure. And it's probably because we haven't done a good job of addressing that elephant in the room. Okay, so that's why this is so important, that if you can understand the concerns of your perfect customer, you'll learn what needs to be addressed openly. Okay, because that right there brings trust. That's what brings people to, you know, that transparency. Okay, so very important that we look into the things that we say and how people could perceive it. Now, again, there's gonna be times where people don't care. They just like, okay, shoot, make me an offer, or you know, they'll just go through the motion without giving it second thought because they're that motivated. Okay, but we don't always want to assume it's going to run that smooth, and most time it's not. Okay, so all right, so does that make sense? I mean, would love to hear from some of you guys' feedback. What are some crazy assumptions that maybe some of your sellers have had about you? I know with me personally, a lot of the times most times we get told, "Hey, is this a scam?" Hey, I wasn't sure about this because I thought it sounded like a scam, sounded a little bit too good to be true. So those are some of the feedback that I personally gotten. So would love to hear what some of the crazy things you guys have heard from your sellers, or concerns that they've had dealing with you, coming into dealing with you. So would love to get some of that feedback, maybe some funny ones too. So feel free to send through some of those comments. So yeah. So again, just be very, very observant of what we say and how someone can perceive it. Okay, so that kind of again, that ties into what we're going to be talking about when it comes to credibility. Okay, and because here's the reality of it too, guys. Sometimes this is how we're perceived. You know, I'm learning more and more, and wonder why we're not being more transparent. Me and Trevor were having a conversation about this at the last Carrot Retreats. Like, you know, our industry, we haven't done a good job of being more transparent. You know, maybe we have that fear by being transparent that we're going to lose a deal, right? You know, so we, you know, there's always those reasons why we feel like maybe we're not transparent for whatever reason. But when this becomes the perception, because a seller, or really a customer in general, they're gonna determine their next step, which is either to engage with you or whether to keep looking, is going to be based on their perception of you. So if someone lands on your website and all it does is just talking about how you buy houses, how we can do this and this, but there's no introduction, there's no profile, there's no picture of who you are. This is really this is really how people can perceive us, that we're just kind of behind that curtain. You know, not knowing who we are. And to me, when you're not adding credibility to the site, I believe you're adding fuel to the fire of that suspicion they already have. Okay. The reason why I bring this up right here, guys, is because I want you to understand the emotions or the objections that can be triggered by this, so you know how to deal with it. Because by dealing with it, that's what brings credibility. That's what brings confidence. That's what brings trust. Okay, so and if you're not addressing this, because maybe you just don't understand a seller, you just think that maybe a seller comes in, they're either going to jump on our site and then wondering why they're not converting. So a lot of times, a lot of people will come to me and say, "Hey, Adrian, I have something's wrong with my website. I'm getting a lot of people on my website, and no one's converting." Of course, there's a lot of different reasons why that might be. It could be you're just sending the wrong people to your site, maybe, or you're marketing on a platform that's not the ideal place where a motivated seller goes to find a solution. So what's happening? You're probably getting just curious people, right? So there could be a lot of factors that go into why a website's not converting. It could just be that, like I said, people are just on the fence because they're still not sure about it. And that's your goal. That should be our goal, is that people should get over the trust thing when they're on your site. And if you're not doing a better, so if they're bouncing because they're bouncing off the site because they're still not sure, then that probably means you didn't do a good job on the credibility side. Because again, our job is to bring certainty to something they're uncertain about. I guess that's the best way to put it. Okay, so don't be this guy. don't be hiding behind that curtain. Be transparent. To me, that's the first step in bringing credibility, is transparency, and introduce yourself. Okay. So here's kind of a chart we did not long ago, and we continue to use this because it's such a good, kind of gives you some good insight. Is how does a house seller decide what they're going to do? So we talked about how, first of all, they're aware of their problem. They know that they need to sell or want to sell. Okay, so now they're going to seek out a solution. Sometimes some of them don't know what that solution is. Sometimes some will. Sometimes people will react based on default, which is, hey, I probably should call a realtor, right? Depending on how busy they are, or they may just stick a sign out in the yard and because they're getting advice from friends and family, say, hey, just sell it yourself. This is a hot neighborhood. You should have no problem. But yet that person really has no clue, right? So people are going to always be aware of the problem. Now it's seek out solutions. Okay, so how they seek out those solutions, again, part of it's going to be their current knowledge. Some of it will come through influence, and some of it will come through marketing, such as bandit signs. There might be, I know many times I've got, even though I don't do direct mail, I know many times that people say, oh, I saw one of your bandit signs. I didn't even know that people did this, but it was the marketing that brought awareness that, hey, there's this other solution, or not solution, but there's this other option. Okay. So I hear that a lot. Okay. So offline marketing does help. It can still be effective. You just kind of have to do that at a high volume. Okay. So problem aware, solution aware, which is where really they begin to research the difference. And I think that's really where I want to kind of focus, is the solution aware. They know the different solutions. They know that they can go with a realtor, but maybe a realtor told them, hey, this probably needs to be fixed, just needs to be upgraded. Because more than likely, anytime that you want the best price possible, then someone like a realtor will come in and just say, okay, if you want to get the best price possible, you're probably going to have to do this first. Okay, which means money out of their pocket, and there's still no guarantee that they're going to get the asking price. So there's so much that goes into it, and then some of them may decide, you know what, maybe I should list this myself. But then they do research, but then they begin to learn, the ins and outs of what it takes, and then through that research, like I said, then maybe they found bandit signs. So they do a search online for We Buy Houses companies, right? I know we get a lot of clicks because they're taking the information that they're finding on the bandit signs, which is We Buy Houses typically, and doing a search with that, and that's how they're finding us online, and they think that that was our sign, right? So again, they know different solutions. They start researching the differences, and I think by researching the differences, it comes down to this. I mean, there's these other things that we've talked about, but I'm going to really stay on the solution solution aware. Okay, start researching the differences. Okay, I've always said that. I'm going to come back to this. Let's see. Okay. All right. I had a slide for that, but start researching the differences. So that's, to me, a big part of researching the differences, again, is going to be more on the psychology side. One of the things that I've always said is people want to deal with people that are going to follow through with what they say that they're going to do. You know, people want that confidence, that reassurance that, you know, if I tell you I'm going to do something, people want that confidence that you can do it. Okay. So a lot of that expectation is going to be more on the psychology side. So that's why it's always good to get feedback from sellers in your local market. You know, what's their expectations? You know, how do they perceive this? And those are the things that you can begin to build into your credibility. You know, like for an example, one of the markets I'm in, I know a lot of people use the same slogan now because I've shared it. Is I say, you know, if you want to be done, and I put that in my follow up signature. You know, if you're ready to be done with that property, hey, we're ready to get started. You know, I know you want to be done with this property. Make sure that you look out for our emails, and we'll be calling you in the next 48 hours. Right. So it's really beginning to identify with what's the language of the local market. You know, what's their perception, you know, and a lot of it can come through just how and what words they use. Okay. So, and the reason why that ties into credibility is that if someone feels like you understand them, they're going to trust. They're probably going to trust you a little bit more because they feel like you get it, you understand, you know, and they feel like they found the right person or company to deal with. Okay, so that's why even this is not related, but I was telling someone on a coach strategy call this week. She was having a hard time finding buyers on Craigslist. And I told her, I said, what are you saying? What's your ad? And her ad was pretty general. So anyways, I said, okay, let's do this. And this might be a good tip for you guys too. If you guys are working with Craigslist and finding cash buyers, I said, okay, I want you to run one ad just for rehabbers. Okay. And speak their language. So I told her, so, okay, maybe try this headliner. Are you looking for your next project? Okay. We're having massive thunderstorms here, so I'm not sure if you guys see it picking through. I'm not sure if it's picking up through my microphone. And then, and I told her, so you're going to create another form or another ad just for cash flow guys. You know, those are the ones that tend to buy in whole. So, and I told her, I said, try this headliner. Are you looking to increase your cash flow? Okay. So what's happening? You're speaking their language, and that gets their attention. You know, you stop them in their tracks. And when you are able to get that attention by speaking their language, in a lot of ways, not only do you get your attention, but it's almost like they trust you more because they feel like you know them, you know, like you get it, right? So same thing, you know, credibility can come in the form of being on the same page, you know, whether it's even verbally, right? Using the right language, right? Using the right terminology, and paying attention to those stuff. Okay. So, and that just makes you a better marketer too. I mean, so it's not, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but trust me, investing this time to understand a seller and the words they're using can go a long ways. And it just makes you a whole better marketer. So, so always make sure that you're saying the right things, and the right things could be just simply just, you know, paying attention and talking to sellers and identifying what those might be. And in your market. So, um, so again, so some of the things I want to talk about was back to credibility. Um, let's let me see. To influence credibility. Okay. Here's the part two. Um, okay. Here's what I was trying to think. I was trying to find my notes. I know I had put a note on this. Um, so really want to talk about guideline 1 and 2. It might be hard to see, but it says make it easy to verify the accuracy of your information on your site and show that there's a real organization behind your site. Okay. Make it easy to verify the accuracy of your information on your site. So that's kind of a can be tricky a little bit, or I should say, well, I don't want to use the word tricky, but easy to verify the accuracy of your information site. So let me kind of tell you what I kind of believe happens is I'm going to show you guys an example. Okay. All right. Give me just a second. All right. Let's see. Okay. So let me ask you this. Who has an entity here? Anyone in this call have an entity? Let's use a real life example. Who has an entity that we can, and also has a motivated seller set up? Send through your information right now. I want to use you as an example. Let's see. All right. Let me see. I'm trying to find. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. All right. Leon, what's your name of your entity? What's your legal entity name? Send it through. And then I'll send through your entity name. And then also send through your seller site. Let's okay. Send through your entity name and also your seller site. And we'll break down your stuff and use it as an example. All right. All right. Let me shoot. I lost something here. I was gonna look up something here real quick. Where did you go? Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and do this quick. Yeah, I remember you now, Leon. So did you ever? I know I sent you a video on what I thought would be best. So I'm not sure what you decided, but yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, you're just kind of a unique situation with your business name and all that. So you just kind of have to decide what is it that you want to do. So yeah, remember sending that video. I didn't hear back from you. So if you got more questions, please let me know. But let's do this. So here's Leon's website. So I'm going to go into, so a couple things real quick. And this is something that's somewhat a review, but definitely change this picture out, make it more fitting to your local area, Leon, for sure. Talking about credibility. I mean, that could kind of be a credibility as well, because most people love dealing with someone close to them. I know one of the feedbacks we get common is they're wanting to find someone local to them because they feel like they want to deal with someone who knows the market. Okay. So I definitely would get that changed out as soon as possible, so that can add credibility to the site, so it's just not a personalization, but to me, it does have some impact on your credibility. Okay. All right. So I'm just kind of going through this real quick. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to your company page. All right. So first thing that needs to be done is, as I talked about, is you need to put in a picture. You need to put in a picture and also a short bio introducing yourself. To me, that is one of the missing elements that I see a lot of websites making. Is there's no transparency in who we are. Remember what I said with this one. This is how people see us to a degree. You know what I mean? I mean, some people. I mean, that might be extreme, but sometimes you kind of have to nitpick and really understand how people can perceive you. And this is really something that you don't want to be perceived as, because if someone's here, like me personally, I can totally understand why. Here's all these great claims, things that we're able to do, but now they're curious, who's this company? And of course, we provided some great content, but you want to go above and beyond and add even more to that. And again, the best way to do that is making sure that your information is correct. Okay. Or not your information is correct, but at least that you have a bio. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to put your picture up, but you know what? I totally get that. And I'm the same way. Me personally, I'm a private person. I don't really like my information out there, to be quite honest. But when I began to see that a lot of traffic was heading over to my, I get a lot of traffic goes over to my company page. What I did is, so I'll show you guys. Let me go into the back end real quick. Okay, oops. All right, stats. Okay, so when I began to look at my stats, and this is available to you guys too, on your end. So also keep in mind, if you guys are starting out, you guys might see a lot of traffic, but a lot of that traffic is probably going to be a good chunk of it from you. Okay, so I was thinking that. So anyways, here we go. So you see that the company page, I'm looking at my top pages, meaning where do people engage with the most? Obviously, the home page is going to be that, because that's just where people land. And that's cool that my thank you page is one of the most visited sites. That means that I'm converting. So at the same time, everyone who visits my homepage is not going to be a motivated seller, because I share this website a lot, and I'm sure some of you guys are going to be coming here, and my numbers will be going up. So this ain't a really true equation here. But you see here, the company page is one of the most visited pages, and this is just in the last 7 days. Let me go back 30 days. Okay, there we go. So again, really cool that my thank you page is one of the top visit pages. We convert a lot of leads on the site, but you see here, and that kind of ties into what we're talking about. I really attest that, because we've done a good job of being transparent and adding those credibility factors. And you see here, just in the last 30 days, a big chunk of our traffic has been people going to the company page, people going to the FAQ page, and then also how we buy houses. So that kind of is in line with what I've always talked about, is people are wondering what's the process? How does this work? Is this real? Is this a scam? How do I get started? Those type of questions that people have. So this is a good indicator, guys. If you're just starting out, definitely to pay attention to the stats. Now, be careful too, because I know a lot of people say, well, it shows that 8 people were on my site last week and no one converted. What's wrong? Right? That 7 people was probably you. So just kind of don't go down that rabbit's hole. I mean, like I said, it takes, just kind of look at it as a way to kind of gauge where people are going. So if this was the case for you, Leon, what you want to do is, man, you got to spruce this up, right? So, and let me tell you why we convert very well on the site is because, one, we personalize the site. You see the background picture. Pittsburgh is a very proud blue collar city. So we like to, that's why we intentionally made the landmark the background picture, because people are familiar with it. Okay. The other thing is, again, we put in some testimonials, and just make it very, very easy. And we intentionally put our business name in some of the testimonials. Okay. Because I want someone curious that they're going to search for me. It's happened. Okay. It's happened. So I want my business name. Now, I'm not saying that now here's the thing though. These people did give me testimonials with my business name in there. So I don't want you to think that I just threw in my business name. Okay. I don't want you guys making up your testimonials. I'm just saying it's awesome when someone can mention your business name, because that can help. That this could easily come up in Google if there was enough of it. Okay. So anyways, but back to the company page. Okay. So I make a big statement, and I've seen many people use this as well, on their sites, and because it's worked well for us. So right here, you see how I have a picture, I have me, picture of the family, and my bio is about my customers. Okay. Even though I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about them. Okay. So I make it about me, but about them. All right. So, again, just adding those little things. And then also, you notice how a lot of people are going to my FAQ page. When I noticed that, then I began to incorporate videos, and all she's doing is answering the questions word by word and some of these Q&A questions. It just enhances the website a little bit more. Okay. So, again, it's that credibility that can have a big impact on how many people actually engage. So on one end, it's getting people to your site, but also it's the credibility stuff that can really play a big role. And you see here, I'm not even branding on the front end. I don't have my business name up here. It's all about providing a solution to a problem that they have, but they still want to have confidence that you're someone legit. You're someone who will do what they say. And that's where all these elements combined can have a huge, huge impact. And, again, if you guys don't, believe me, we've had a great month so far, just through, all these leads that we get on a consistent base for this market. All right. So, we do very, very well. And I think a big part of that is just we've done a great job with just the credibility stuff. Okay. The other thing too is, let's take a look at your contact us page. Okay. Let me ask you this. I'm not sure how it works overseas, to be honest with you, Leon. Is your company name just Quick Buy Properties? Do you guys have LLCs, or what's your is there a entity title that you guys have with Quick Buy Properties by chance? So let me ask Leon, what's your actual business name? What's the legal entity name of your company? Is it just Quick Buy Properties? Okay. So I would put that in there, at least in the company page. Okay. And really, I would even put that into your company name website, or to settings, excuse me, in the settings. Put your actual LTD in here, because that's how you want people to find you, is by your actual entity, to show that you're real. So like I said, on my website, I have it baked into right here, because it'll automatically populate in some parts of the website right here. Awesomeness Investments LLC. Okay. I want people to find me by my official name, because a lot of times so many investors in the past have just used keywords as a way to, as their business name, thinking that's going to help. It really technically doesn't. You do want to be transparent in who your business is, because one, Google likes that. And then two, and I'll show you why you want to use your actual business name. Okay. So what happened, this is what's happened for me in the past many, many, many times, is people engage with your website, people go to the company page, and what happens is they find your business name. Okay. So what happens? They're going to click, they're going to copy and paste. People have told me this. Sellers have told me this. So what's going to happen is, what you want to do is they're going to Google search you by your business name. Okay. Which is very, very interesting, because what they're looking for. I had a lady tell me this. I said, what made you decide to go with us? She goes, well, to be honest with you, she said, I looked you up online and wanted to make sure there was no negative information. That was all she cared about, was no negative information. Because she said, I didn't want to have someone waste my time. Okay. So you kind of see how people perceive things. So if I get enough people telling me, hey, are you guys going to waste my time? Then I probably want to build that into my marketing somehow. Hey, we promise not to waste your time. We're going to give you the best assessment to know what your best solution will be. If we're not it, great. But at least you can be confident that you know what steps to take. And if that step's not with us, hey, we're okay with that. Okay. So, but you see here, if someone were to Google my business name, I have control of page 1. Okay. I have control of page 1. So why is that so important? Okay. It's important because here's a good example. All right. So here's a good example. I'm going to show you guys something. Who's all on Facebook? Who's all on Facebook? Who has a page on Facebook, or who's engaged on Facebook? I'm going to show you. I'm sure you guys something very interesting. Okay. Okay. Let me go back to this. So remember what I said here? Where's that? Right here. Show that there's a real organization behind your site. Okay. So this is kind of be challenging a little bit. It's kind of advanced. I kind of hesitated to talk about it, but I'm going to go to. So you see how my Facebook, how the Facebook comes up first. There's the Facebook regular, then there's the mobile Facebook. You see how powerful Facebook can be. Okay. So the reason why you need to control page 1 for your business name is to make it hard for someone to penetrate your wall. Okay. If I didn't control this, who knows what will show up on page 1? Remember, we deal with a lot of people that have, negative. I'll show you guys here what I mean by that. There's some people out there that will make negative, will say negative stuff about us, and some of it is just, it's rightly so. They've gotten burned, or people just don't like investors, and for whatever reason, or someone, maybe there's a wholesaler or someone that just didn't do what they're supposed to do rightly. So there's a lot of reasons why some people just have this negative thing towards us. So if they said something negative about you, and that comment comes on a very powerful platform, that information can come up easily on page 1. Okay. So my guard, here's kind of my protection. I intentionally created properties that will control page 1 of Google. So if someone does say something about me, it's very hard for that negative comment to come up. Okay. So why is that so important? So let's say someone goes to my website and they really want to deal with me. They want to do business with me, but they just want to make sure I'm legit. What are they going to do? They're going to go to, they're going to do a Google search for my business name. They want to see what they hear. So I love the fact that Facebook has the rating things come up. Okay. And what if one of the negative comments came up? And I'll show you an example here shortly. What if a negative comment came up and then that person was persuaded by it? Because we're not there to defend ourselves. Okay. We're not there to defend ourselves and say, hey, this is really what happened. People are going to, again, take their next actions with you, whether it's to deal with you or to keep looking based on their perception. Okay. So you see here how I've used Facebook, my credibility site, property like Connected Investors. There's a YouTube channel, a video, LinkedIn, and then even some of my website. This is coming up because I've optimized this page with my business name. Okay. So all this I've intentionally have filled up page 1 of Google with my business name. So I'm not leaving a chance if someone says something about me negatively, because I'm not there to defend myself, that it doesn't show up on page 1. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? Are you following me so far? Why it's so important that you need to control page 1 with your entity name? Because people are going to look you up. You'll be amazed how many people research. Okay. So let me tell you why that's so important. Okay. So this example is going to kind of cover what I mean by negative information coming up, possibly. Okay. Then also showing that you're a real organization. You know, so many times we run from negative comments. Like we just, or I know some investors that someone will say something about them and they just delete it. And sometimes like, man, that's an opportunity to show you're real. You know, other people will see that, you know. So here's a good example. Let me see here. Okay. So right here. Okay, here's a good example right here. Okay, you see I'm running this ad, and this is a retargeting ad. Okay, it's a retargeting ad. So I've gotten a lot. I love this ad because it engaged a lot of people, and a lot of these are sellers, not just investors, like investor friends and family, but a lot of these are actually sellers. Okay, so I love it. So I see I got, and this can help your SEO indirectly too. Okay, but I've been running this ad for a while, and it does well. Okay, so and I've had a lot of people share it, which is great. You know, that's really good. So this has really helped me in so many ways since I first launched it back in March 23rd of 2016. You know, and we still do deals occasionally from retargeting ads. But you see here, you know, so right here, like this guy had something negative to say. This is why no one should deal with a company like this. They are even buying your house. They give you a dirt cheap offer, then sell it to someone else at retail and keep the profit. Stay with a local company like mine. And then I just kind of said in here, hey, Richard, we're house buyers. We don't lowball nor give cheap offers. We base our offer on the current condition of the property, and of course evaluate our time and effort. You know, we don't believe in trying to hit a home run in every project. We look to be a win-win for everybody. You know, we're not for everyone. And we actually give people who come to us better options. Okay. So see how transparent I am? I'm not running from it. You know, the easy thing would have been to just let this guy, you know, I could have easily just, you know, just deleted it. But no, I'm confronting it because I want to show I'm a real company. Okay. And then here was another one right here. This person, what a joke. Again, I could have easily avoided it. But you know, I didn't. I confronted, hey, Christine, I'm sorry you feel that way, but we're a legit company who do what we say. Is our services for everyone? No. You know, we actually refer a lot of people to different options, including realtors. If this is this is not the solution. We're selective in the houses we buy, and we tend to focus on houses that need a lot of work. We're proud to improve our local neighborhoods and have people thanking us all the time. You know, so right here, even right here too, as well. You know, people just ask questions, and like they'll say, "Hey, do you usually offer enough to pay off their mortgage, or usually less?" And I confronted it. And this is a great opportunity to educate people and really what we're about. You know, hey Joe, thanks for reaching out. This is a great question, and we'll always gladly answer. Many people tend to think we're just about lowballing. So there are might be others that do that, but our offer is strictly based on the current condition of your house. Okay. So I really gave the time to really respond. And then at the end, he thanks us. Cool. I appreciate the info very much. And, but at the same time, we're trying to do a lot of stuff that's really good. Information, good PR. Right. So, then also, sometimes we have flaws in our system. This person said, hey, I called last Friday, did not get a follow-up. And then I put, hey, Michelle, let me look into this. We had some, and we actually had a Podio issue on the back end a couple weeks ago. So some stuff weren't coming through. So, and I just told her, hey, we had some tech issues that might have been, related to this, but can you PM your address and we can follow up? And I did. Then you're gonna have people like say, go away. They're gonna people say, okay. They're gonna always be people that are gonna kind of hate, but that's okay. Confront those. Again, it goes back to building that credibility and building trust, because you're confronting, you're not running. And so many people are running from stuff like this. Okay, so been very, very cool. So don't hesitate to bring that credibility by engaging as well. Again, show that you're a real organization behind your site. Okay, so so hopefully that does that help? Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. All right, so I'm gonna grab a cup some water really fast. I'm gonna mute. So give me would love some of your feedback so far on this call. Give me some feedback. Let's get some interaction on this. And but let me take a quick drink of my water. And but please, let's send through some stuff. All right, hold on. Let me get some water. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Had to rip open a bag to get to the water. So, So again, just be totally. That's how you influence credibility over time. Because remember, guys, this is not a sprint; it's a marathon. If you notice that this ad has been running for a while, and it's just gaining momentum. For the most part, positive. Okay. So now, of course, there are going to be some people that are going to respond negatively. It is what it is. So that kind of shows what we're talking about, how people perceive us, so sometimes we do have to work a little bit harder to be able to gain that trust with someone. Okay. So, and then with that same blog, not that blog, but that ad, we also highlight the expertise in our organization and the content and services we provide. And really our goal is to show that honesty and trustworthy people are behind your site. So that Facebook ad is a great example of just not running ads, but giving attention to people who just have questions. That's an opportunity to showcase your expertise so that people show that you're real and also that you're trustworthy, and I told that person, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way, but we first of all, we are not for everybody. And people always criticize because we're making a profit. I think I responded to someone about that too. I said, because people get upset because we're making money, right? So of course it's a business. I mean, are you upset at Walmart? Are you upset with, your local grocery store? Because they're making a profit. I mean, are you telling them that they're profiting off of your need to have water or food? No, there's an understanding it's a business, and we're no different. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell someone that, but I'm just saying people always have those types of perceptions, and sometimes you just got to let things go, because you're just gonna have people that think what they do, and and obviously I don't care. Hey, if they don't have a house to sell, right? So make it easy to contact you. That's why it's so important that we update this and have your right information in here. The contact us page plays a really big role on making sure that you're doing that, especially on the credibility side. Of course, you have your website up here, or excuse me, your phone number, and we have the forms that follows them, whatever page that they go to. Okay. So, all right, cool. So, all right. So again, just some really quick feedback like, okay, so how do we do this? Again, some low-hanging fruit, that really, this should only take you guys 30 minutes to an hour. Just to, even if you carve out that time, just knock it out, is personalize the about page. Get that picture up. Kind of get over that fear of having a picture up. I did, for a long time, I didn't do that. But, to me, this business is important to me that, and plus, I want people to trust me. I want people to, so if I can't come out and shake their hands, then I just, to me, I just don't get that, because you got to look at things from a consumer's perspective, right? So, optimize the page, that page for, again, your company and your location. If you guys have an office, great. Leverage that. If not, then, just, be good at the other stuff. All right. So then if you guys have BBB accreditation, if you're accredited, utilize that too. There's always going to be two arguments on the BBB, but, you use your best judgment and how effective it could be, in your local market. Okay. And then my favorite is probably the YouTube video optimize, the YouTube video optimize. Google has, or it's so much tougher to rank for keywords for video now. I mean, you almost have to treat a video like a website. So, but if you can optimize a video with your business name, that's the low-hanging fruit. That's where you can really position yourself. So like here, and I'll be honest, I really haven't done a great job of doing this, but I would love to have a video show up here, for sure, with my business name, even if it was a testimonial, excuse me. So not only look at your business or videos to optimize for keywords, but create some videos that are going to be optimized with your business name. So if someone does a business name, how awesome would it be for that video to show up on page one, especially if it's a testimonial, right? So, all right. So let's see. So that one, I think, is a low-hanging fruit, and plus it's free. You know what I mean? It's free, and it's you can use a service like Animoto, which is what I like, or just get some people. If there's a seller that you've dealt with and you still are in touch with them, maybe give them I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is right or not. I'm just putting it out there, like maybe offer them a $25 gift card just to share their experience with you. I mean, don't make up stuff for them to say, but, compensate them for their time. It's worth it, so, I think on my page, on my, some of my websites, I put as an option at the very end of the step 2 form, hey, would love some for your feedback. What's important to you? Why did you choose us? And what we do is anybody who submits their information or any feedback, we put their name in a little drawing, I guess you could say, and we pick out a name, and we'll give away a $25 gift card every month. So just for someone giving us some valuable information, because a little piece of information can go a long ways. So again, it's all about understanding the seller. And as you understand their perception, whether it's negative or positive, now you have something to work with. Okay. So to me, this is how you run a true business. It's just not about sending out mailers. It's not about having a website. You got to treat this as a real business, and you got to invest that time into understanding who your seller is or who your customers is. Okay. And then that's when you will begin to really stand out locally in your market. Okay. So here's kind of a challenge. We'll challenge you guys to at least get 5 testimonials on your website in the next week or 2. Well, some of you might say, well, I haven't done 5 deals. I haven't even done my first deal yet. Go get some character-based testimonials. Okay. A testimonial would be something like, hey, let's say Leon was in the insurance business. I'm just making this up. Let's say he was in the insurance business, and I don't want you guys making this up too. I'm not trying to say make them up. I'm just giving you guys some examples. So Leon could go back to some past clients, say, hey, I've done business with Leon for the last 5 years, and he's always treated me fair. or I've done business with Leon and he's always gave me he's always treated me with respect. You know what I mean? So those are character-based testimonials. Go out there and talk to 5 professionals that know you and your character, and just ask them for a testimonial. Again, don't make it up. So again, 5 testimonials, and then build a system to intentionally get reviews on your BBB and Google profiles, or even on your website, right? So, and then also create testimonial videos into Facebook ads. So if you guys are running, let's say you're doing direct mail in certain zip codes. One thing I love about, there's 2 things you can do. It's a little bit advanced, but I'll just throw it out there. What I would do is, I don't do direct mail. That's just my choice. But if I were to do direct mail, you know what I would do? I would run Facebook videos in the zip codes I'm targeting. And this video could be a testimonial, so people get familiar with my branding, because you never know, because everyone's on Facebook. So the idea is that someone who I targeted will see my brand, and they'll happen to see my letter, and they put the 2 together, and I'm just more credible because they're familiar with me now. Okay. Does that sound far-fetched? Yeah. I mean, it is kind of, you got to kind of have to run ads all the time and just kind of hope that right person sees your testimonial. Okay. So, and also I would run some PPC ads with my business name. Okay. Run some PPC ads with my actual business name, not keywords, but my business name. So if someone does a search for my business, I also have a position up in the ads. Again, just taking up more space, having more visibility on page 1 of Google. Okay. So again, get some testimonials on your site. If you guys have not spruced up your company page, do that as well. I'd put that in here, but build a system to get reviews. Talk to people, get some testimonials. There's a lot of tools out there that you can use that can help assist with this. Okay. Or if you guys do deals, again, offer incentive. Hey, you mind going over to my Google account and send them a link, and then BBB also, same thing, that people can submit their information on there. So get people involved, do these little extra things that can really go a long ways. Because I'm glad I did this ad years ago and see how it's built up. Now I can reach out to those people and get more information from them. Again, that's just bringing more credibility to my site, and I could get some really good testimonials as well. So, but hopefully that makes sense. So let me see if there's any questions that's come through. Give me just a minute. Yeah, Michael. So what I would do is, if you have the 3 lead per day training, we have a whole module that covers YouTube marketing. Okay, YouTube marketing in the 3 lead per day training. It's one of those things. It is a task, and I think actually next week we're going to do a call. Okay, so if you have the 3 lead per day training, great. I'm letting you know a resource that you already have. Again, if you do have it, there's a whole module on YouTube marketing, and I think next week we're going to cover video, and we're going to cover this one right here, creating videos for credibility and also lead generation. So let me see. I think that call is next week. Let me double check that real quick. Actually, it's in 2 weeks. How to create real estate videos that get attention. So that's going to be on August 22nd. I'm going to cover videos. But in the meantime, if you have the 3 lead per day training, dive into that. There's a whole module on that talks about video optimization with YouTube. Okay. Do you, or rather is the, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a great question. So how does the credibility work with the credibility template? So, so really the credibility site is really, I recommend it for someone that has an entity. Okay. If you're just getting started with wholesaling and, you haven't really you haven't had the, you don't have an entity, not really a business, I say you don't need it right now, right? Because I'd rather have you guys focus on generating, getting the marketing going, and maximizing your efforts into that. So, so this is a credibility site. So you kind of see here how. So the idea is that this website is really focused around your business, not lead generation. Okay, so even though there's information about properties for sale, or it talks about how you buy houses, that's kind of there just for credibility. It's not really, you're not going to use this really for lead generation. Me personally, I'm just kind of letting this sit here. So what I did is I got a domain with my actual business name. So it's in line with the purpose of the website, and I put up my actual company logo. Remember this one. Remember, let me see. So in this one, remember, my focus is lead generation, not technically branding or credibility. Even though we're talking about credibility, please don't get confused. Is that I like to have people be introduced to what I do, not who I am, at least on the front end. Okay. And that's because this site is made for lead generation, where the credibility site is not. It's just more informational. It's just kind of just sitting there in case it's needed. And plus, I do a lot of networking locally too, not just real estate stuff. So this is I have this on my business card. And that business card I just kind of use for networking, like business events, local events. But it's not something I would give to a motivated seller or anything like that. It's just, but it's there just in case. Like I said, I've done a few deals to where my seller saw this website and it worked in my favor, because we offered the house I really liked, but she owed too much on it. But we know we could cash flow well with it. So I offered her terms, and she told me she would get back with us. And what she did was she also did a Google search. Same things as my example earlier. She did a Google search. She found out what my business name was, and she Google searched it. And then she found this website. She was clicking through. I think she was clicking through, but I mean, she told me she came to my website, and to her, this information just, again, perception, just made her comfortable that we're a legit company, So, I mean, I could totally be a crook and still have this website and not be legit, but it shows you the perception that people have when you have a website, that it just legitimizes you. Okay. So, so this purpose is just kind of just sitting there. Okay. So I'm not really marketing it. I'm not marketing it. I might find some use for it down the road somehow in a different way, but it's just a credibility site just built around my business name. Okay. So I don't use it for lead generation or anything, just really, really simple. So, so now, is everyone going to want to follow the way I'm doing? No, everyone's strategy is different. Everyone's a little bit, their approach is a little bit different. So, okay. Does that help, Leon? I know this was kind of in line with some of the questions that we were going back and forth in the email. So hopefully that kind of clarifies the credibility site. Okay. So, okay, cool. Michael said, sweet. So I'm assuming, Michael, you have the 3 lead per day training. Yeah. If you do, there's a whole module on it. It's really, really good. All right. Okay, Jeffrey, do you have any? This is Adrian, by the way. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? You said, can I add my site to the end of the coaching call for analysis? So, yeah, we totally can. So, yeah, what's your question about the website? What do you want me to analyze? So, let me know. Let me know what the goal of the website is and what you've done so far, and then we can help out that way too. I don't really know any other ones on top of my head. I mean, to me, a great example is just mine right here. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't really be concerned with it too much. If you're just starting out, just stick to the motivated seller site. Let that be the focus. Like I said, that's why I'm kind of hesitant to really bring this and be talking about, because I don't want to lead anyone into a rabbit hole. I want everyone to really be focused. If you're starting out, don't worry about the credibility site right now. Just get what you need to get done on your seller site, because right now I see a lot of stuff that you can do on the seller site. So I just don't want you to be concerned and add to your list that's already maybe growing because of the credibility site. I would just say, just don't worry about the credibility site for now. Just focus on the motivated seller site. Get some of the stuff personalized, as we talked about. Get that going. Get the marketing going, whatever that is, and then cross that bridge later when it comes to the credibility site. So I just want you to be. I just want to have you be working very, very efficiently and making the most and doing the things that's going to make a difference now in generating traffic. A credibility site is not going to drive traffic. Okay, so I guess I'm just getting that too. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Let's get some questions going. We got a little bit of time left. So any questions regarding anything that we talked about regarding the training about credibility, or questions about, maybe taking a look at your website? Let me know now. That now's the time. So if not, then we can bounce. Let me go through the questions again here real shortly. Okay. Yeah, we're getting some thunderstorms here. All right. Let me see. I'm just going through the questions. Some of it we've addressed, so I'm just sorting them out. So that as I'm searching, make sure you guys are looking around. So give me just. I'm going to search through this real quick. All right, I think we have some questions here. Okay, what are your thoughts on Facebook Live video and credibility? Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some stuff that you can do to kind of bring attention to your business. Because really, it's all about bringing attention to the business, right? So here's what Eric put. What are your thoughts on Facebook Live video and credibility? I did one this week sharing a story where we suggested a customer donate their house instead of selling them, and it got a good response on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, any type of attention, you can get people, learning more about your business can be great, because that person might know someone later down the road. So stuff like that can plant seeds in people's minds. So later down the road, let's say they happen to know someone and they remember that Facebook Live you did, and that could be a referral. So, I totally see something like that. I don't know. I kind of like to do things with the end in mind, like, okay, what's the purpose of this Facebook Live? How does it increase my credibility? And so, yeah, I worth testing, definitely worth testing, because that's one thing too, guys. I mean, we share a lot of information, a lot of best practices, and there's going to be some stuff that we're not going to know for sure whether it's great or not unless you test it. So I love the fact that you're doing that. Just maybe do a few more and see how it works. See if it gets people asking. And then also, with that said, knowing that you're probably more or less planting seeds in people's mind, knowing that's probably what's happening, kind of capitalize on that. So, and what I mean by that is, so as you're doing the Facebook Live, say, hey, thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. But if this, it might be helpful to you, or maybe down the road you find someone in a situation to where you feel like our service will be beneficial, please feel free to share our information, and please let them know that it was you that referred them. Okay, so plant seeds in people's minds like that. You kind of have to tell people what to do, give them a call to action. Because me, that's what I like to do. I like to plant seeds in people's mind, because they may not necessarily need me right now, but down the road they could. And what happens? The mind always brings back to the forefront of conversations and things. Like, how many times have you guys recommended someone, because in a real conversation it got brought up, and then, hey, I know someone that can help you. It's just because some of it could be just through experience, or it could be, hey, you know what? I just saw something on Facebook the other day that might help. You might look into. You know what I mean? So things like that happens. So it's all a human connection in a lot of ways. No, I mean, so the second question is, your website name a DBA or your. So so with marketing on the seller site, okay. So I don't want to confuse anybody. So first of all, the seller site, my focus is not branding, okay? Meaning I'm not putting a company logo up here, because my company name is not going to tickle someone. It's not going to give someone hope, but this message does. But what I do is I do sprinkle in my business name into the content, okay? And even on the contact us page, I do that. So I'm not creating any additional entities just for my website. I'm just strictly, it's associated with my business, but my message is more on the solution with the credibility stuff that we're talking about. Okay. So no need to go that far and trying to create entities just for your website. It's not needed. I'm just saying, remember, you're looking at it from a marketing perspective. Okay. So now that's because also I'm focused on SEO. Okay. So, and the reason why that's important to know is, remember, here's how someone started. Okay. I'm just going to choose, so remember, here's someone just did a Google search. Okay. So now you got to have to take that journey with them. So they did a Google search. Now Google has given all these options to them. So, and more than likely, if they don't trust ads, they're going to probably click on the first site they see because it's convenient. So what's going to happen? They're going to click on it. Boom. I want this logo to really make them feel like they found what they're looking for, because they don't know who they're looking for as a company. But I do want to communicate instantly, hey, this is a solution for you. Okay. And that's why I do it. Now, as they engage, now they'll begin to see right here, Awesomeness Investments LLC. Okay. And this is another website of mine. Okay. So does that make sense? Yeah. So remember, here's a good way to put it too. My motivated sellers are more than likely going to find me with keywords. Okay. They're going to find me with keywords. So they're not going to know to look me up by Awesomeness Investments until after they connected with me. Okay. So it's more of a strategic strategy to where this person found me. They found me through a keyword. Okay. They found me through a search. They have no clue who I am when they're searching until they actually come to my website. Now they begin to know, again, not just about what I do, but also who I am, because it's in the content. So what I'm banking on is curious minds. Okay. All right. Who is this Awesomeness company? I want to make sure that they're legit. So now what happens is now that I'm banking on them doing a Google search. With my actual business name. Okay. And then that's what I'm finding. The reason why I use my business name, kind of a couple of reasons. One, it's what they're looking for. So that they should be finding business information, not keyword stuff, not saying how we do this and that. It's just about finding a business. Again, if they decide to go down this road. And the other thing too is I love this because it's easy to rank for your own business name, unless you have some crazy generic business name that 1,000 other people are using. It shouldn't be hard at all. That's another reason. So again, it's more a psychology strategy. Your Google My Business should always be your business name, always. Years and years ago, people used to try and manipulate Google My Business with by using a keyword. Um, Google's smartening up. They don't like that. Your business name should reflect your entity big time. So try not to manipulate Google. Use your actual business name for Google My Business. Well, yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Eric. That's why you build out the other elements. I mean, that's why kind of my pet peeve in our industry is that we talk too much, or we focus too much on what we do. Like, hey, we buy houses, and we do. And don't get me wrong, we have to say those things for more of helping our website optimize for that, so people find us. But what we're talking about is a little bit more advanced on what happens once they engage with us. Once they want to learn more about not just your service, but who you are. So that might be maybe one of the reasons why it might seem confusing a little bit. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So Leon, yeah, I get it. I mean, if you're gonna find like lenders or cold money lenders, even though we have a cash buyer site, I would still use the credibility site. And plus, you can't solicit for buyer or for lending anyway. So what I would do is I would use the credibility site strategically and just build out information and education on making money with real estate through investing. Right. So I would use the credibility site, because if I'm going to lend someone money, I want to know more about the company, not necessarily what they do per se. Here's the credibility, or here's the cash buyer site. Okay. I wouldn't use this to solicit, or I shouldn't say solicit, because you can't solicit for funds, but this is more for lead generation. Anything that's related to maybe raising money, or maybe finding people to trust you with their money, I would build that information into my credibility site. Because like me personally, that's kind of my ambition, is to be a private money lender. And I would never just randomly go to one of these, hey, I want to invest money with you. I would probably want to engage more with the customer, or with this person, on who they are as a company. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, that's a tough one, Eric. I mean, that's the thing, is that I don't like to take chances with Google. So I mean, um, that strategy, it could eventually backfire on you sometime down the road. I don't know. I mean, you could get away with it. And there's a lot of people that have gone away with doing it this way, but I just think later down the road, it can potentially catch up. Right. So that's why I'm very conservative with Google, because I want to make them happy. So if there's some things that I feel like maybe that's kind of gray in their guidelines that I'm doing, I don't want to risk it. That's just me, because I do all my deals through Google. That's the chunk of my leads, and I just don't want to piss them off. So, could it be a lot of work going back and redoing it? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but is it worth it? To me, if you know you're going to be in this business long term, this is like it, then yeah, I probably will go back and make some of those adjustments. So some of this is a little bit hard. It might be a little bit over you guys' head, because you guys are just starting out. So maybe this call might be not necessarily the best call to be on right now, because it is more an advanced call. So if you guys are just, I'll just say this, if you guys are getting started right now, okay, if you guys are just getting started right now, focus just on the motivated seller site. Don't do anything with the credibility site. Don't go down that rabbit's hole. Cross that bridge until you get there. Okay. In the meantime, because you have to focus on those activities that are going to start bringing in leads. Okay. When you don't have leads, credibility doesn't mean nothing. Okay. So this call is really for someone who's generating traffic right now, and how to really increase your credibility. So, but if you're not getting leads right now, credibility doesn't mean nothing. So your focus should be more on, and I'm not talking to anybody specifically, I'm just anyone who might be listening. And at this point, what I would do is just focus just on getting traffic first. Okay. And then make those adjustments. But the thing is, right now, you got to get traffic. Okay. So, because some of the stuff I can totally be a little bit over some people's heads just because you're not there yet. So hopefully it makes sense, but it'll come together. I mean, no one's going to understand this overnight. I didn't, I'm still learning. Okay. So, just kind of don't overwhelm yourself, and, just take it one step at a time. But if you guys are on this call and you're just getting started, the simplest thing to do, I will say, as far as credibility, just make sure your company page is transparent. Get some testimonials. If you're starting out, get character-based testimonials, and personalize your website to where it's local. Boom, you're done. And then get to work on marketing. Get traffic coming in. And then as the traffic comes in, then you make those adjustments, paying attention to the stats, where people are going. When you can tell where people are going, you have an idea of what they're thinking. Okay. There's a lot of good information based on people's behavior. Okay. So, and don't worry about credibility site right now, So, if you're wholesaling, all I would focus on is just, the seller site and the cash buyer site. Build your lists, market properties, or market your deal, excuse me, because you're not realtors. Market your deals. But in the meantime, your main focus should just be more on the motivated seller and getting that thing going, get that machine running. Hopefully that helps. Good questions. I mean, it's a little bit different, but really good questions from Eric and Leon. So I love the engagement. Okay. Let me take a look. Okay. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Eric. I mean, you kind of did what a lot of people are doing before, but this is definitely frowned on for sure. But I mean, you can always go and edit your information. I mean, the cool thing is that the page has been created, so at least it's aged for a while. So just go in and just make some adjustments. And let me see. Yeah, so let me look at something here. So give me just a second. There we go. Let me just look at your Yelp account real quick here. Yeah, so here's the thing too. This might bring clarity too. When you're doing citations and Google My Business, I tell people don't worry about your business name out there, because you're doing citations and Google My Business to bring more trust with Google. Citations and Google My Business is really not meant to help you drive traffic or get leads through those avenues. It's simply to increase the trust factor with Google, because if they see that your information all over the internet is consistent with each other, they're going to trust you more. So citations is not about building leads through citations or even Google My Business. They're there just as vehicles to trust, to get more trust with Google. Okay. So I know I've used this example before. So just pretend Google's like the daddy and the search engine's like the daughter. If you want to date the daughter, Google's going to have to trust you. Right. And so if Google were to check up on you and they were to kind of look out into internet land and all your information is consistently similar, you know, they're probably going to trust you more. And that's what promotes you with SEO. Remember, guys, Google SEO is simply gaining Google's trust. Everything that we teach you to do is always indirectly tied into gaining Google's trust. So backlinks is a way to get Google's trust, because backlinks are like virtual votes for your business, for your website. The more votes, quality votes. I don't want you guys going out there just getting any vote, but quality votes increases trust, right? Citations, as if all your information is matching up, that builds trust, because it's consistent information builds trust. If Google were to see that this citation over here had a different business name and then this other one had a different address, a different phone number, that's inconsistency, and that probably will slow down your progression. It's not going to get you in trouble technically, because it takes a lot to get in trouble with Google. You probably just won't progress in a steady pace. Okay, so I always kind of keep that in mind. There are certain things we'll tell you guys to do, not to build traffic, but it's more or less to continue increase that trust factor with Google. So that's why a lot of people, that's why more and more we're encouraging, use your business name. You know, don't get caught up in the whole keyword thing, because these citations are being built not so you can do it, but so you can build that trust with Google. So hopefully that makes sense, and that helps to bring that clarity. Yeah, that's really your decision, though, Eric. I mean, like I said, me personally, it's really up to you. I mean, if you're going to be in this for a long time, and I don't want to come across like I'm questioning you at all. That's far from it. But if you're going to be in this business for a long time, I would invest the time and just change those listings out with your actual business name. You know, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help you. Is again, remember what I said? It's about someone looking you up under your actual entity. Okay, so and if you haven't created your entity yet, yeah, maybe just leave it as is for now. You know, it's already been done. So, but once you create that entity, I would suggest changing that up at that point, because I really see Google getting better and better over time, and they're going to really, I believe they're going to start. I believe it's going to eventually catch up. I really believe that, you know. And if it doesn't happen, hey, I'm okay. But at least I'm assuring myself I will always stay in this guidelines of what Google wants. So tough one to answer there. It's probably more of your more for you, something to decide. But if I were you, get that entity, and then just go into change out those information on the citations, edit your Google My Business, and just get it lined up, just so everything's consistent with each other. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to create an entity for We Buy, you know, in KY houses, yeah, that's totally up to you. You know, so you know, because believe it or not, Google has information to everything. I mean, Google has some. I mean, there's some things I've heard that they have access to know that what's real and what's not real. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't take any chances. That's just me. You know, I mean, you could totally keep doing what you're doing and be okay. Or it may not be okay later down the road. So it's probably best to do it now while it's easy and you don't do any more into it. So Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Great call as always. I always get one or two things I can quickly take action on and file the rest for long term. I love that. File the rest for long term. Yeah, that's one of the keys. I love that. There's some things that we may talk about that you just kind of put in the shelf, but in the meantime is okay, what can I do now based on where I'm at and implement? And that's what these calls are about. So love that statement. Cool. All right, I think I'm gonna bounce out of here. There's really no new questions coming in. Are you saying that more citations the better? It's not about more citations. It's about the quality of your information. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, of course, there's going to be some citations sources that are really good compared to other ones, but to me, it's about consistency. The more consistency your business is with its information, the better for you, not just with Google, but also your reputation. Okay. Like you got to think about like Leon. Leon was talking about finding lenders. Can you imagine like a lender looking you up, and they should rightfully so look you up. And then what happens if you have information over here that has this, there's information over here that has this information, things are not consistent, and that can totally kill your reputation, So, to me, there's some things that may never play out when it comes to sellers that may play out when you're dealing with a lender, or because you never know what road we're going to take in our investing career, right? Things change. So it's always just making sure that your business is solid on the internet when it comes to the information it's tied to. That's it. And it's consistent with each other. So hopefully that helps, Alex, or that made sense at least. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Now, okay. Cool. Thanks for the feedback, Leon. All right. I think that's about it. Cool. All right. I think I'm going to head out. I might stick. Actually, I'll be kind of sticking around just for a little bit. So if you guys, if you're maybe just jumped on the call a little bit later and you're finally hearing this, send through any questions you have, final questions or feedback. Would love that. And jump on the phone, jump on the call next week. I think we're talking Facebook next week. Yep, talking Facebook next week. So if you guys are interested in Facebook, doing any type of marketing with Facebook, make sure you are on the call. All right. All right. Thank you again, guys, so much for participating. Those of you that participated, thank you so much. And again, it's like Gary said, implement what you can at the moment and circle back around to some other stuff later. The idea is just to get those things going. That's going to help you bring in leads right now. Okay. That's the key thing. And then some of those things you can later come back and cross like that saying, cross that bridge. So, all right, everybody, have an awesome afternoon. And if you guys need help with anything implementing, please reach out to support. They're there for you every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. They can help you with any questions, changes, or if you want to just throw over a quick strategy question, you can do that too as well. So, all right, have an awesome afternoon, guys. All right, thanks. All right, bye.